Greetings, YouTube. One of the things that seems to be a major target of the current administration is going after DEI policies and job slots and such. So DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Essentially, often seen as an office within a company or a branch within a college, whose purpose is to make sure that the workforce or the collegiate student body reflects reality, that the people that are in your company or your school are what the demographic of the nation is, rather than just the people who have a lot of money that can send their kids to schools, or the people that can buy their kids into a college by having the right kind of, you know, country club memberships so they can rub shoulders with the right people and get their kids internship and as such. And because remember, an unpaid internship is another means of allowing wealthy white people to keep their kids within corporate America and keep other people's kids out of corporate America. Because let's face it, if you can deal with an paid internships for a year, that means you've got resources behind you. And your average person who's coming up through the ranks of society financially isn't going to have those resources. So that's going to keep people of minority groups out of the corporate America sphere, which is, of course, the purpose behind unpaid internships. So DEI programs are designed to help counter that. Now, it's important to remember, as the title of my video says, that it was bigotry that created DEI. Just as I've described to you how white wealthy Americans have gamed the system in their favor, the very foundations of the reasons they are white wealthy Americans is because they stole that money from previous generations. They stole that money from poor people, from black people, from brown people, from immigrants, from women, all these people that provided them with wealth, but they themselves never benefited from it. And now there are people stepping forward and saying, hey, we've been screwing all these people over. Maybe it's time we stop screwing these people over and we start having our institutions, whether they're, private corporations or schools and such, or the government, reflect the actual demographics of the world around us. Wouldn't that be nice? Of course, you're going to get a lot of pushback from white wealthy racists, which is why you have people like Trump and uh, cisgender Musk outraged with the very concept of there being equity and diversity and inclusion in the world around them. Remember, cisgender Musk was raised during the apartheid era of South Africa. He likes black slaves. He thinks they're just spiffy. Black slaves made his father really wealthy. Black slaves made him really wealthy. So he doesn't see any reason why that people of black complexion shouldn't continue to be his slaves. He likes that idea. And he's been able to get white racists to get on board with that. And so they've given him the power and the position to get where he is now, which is he bought himself a president, and now he's getting to do anything he wants to. For example, shutting down DEI programs. But make no mistake, if it weren't for bigots, DEI programs would not be required. If everyone had always had the opportunity, if they'd all had the same background, if everyone had the same kind of resources behind them, then those programs wouldn't have to exist. But they don't. Lots of white people will tell you we live in a meritocracy, and that's bullshit. Even amongst white Americans, that's bullshit. Because wealthy white Americans have a big leg up on poor white Americans. If you have a criminal record, you have, a major strike against you, whether you oppose to you not having a criminal record. And if you have, wealthy parents with lots of deep pockets, it's easy to get yourself out of having a criminal record. But in America, a white person with a convicted felon, they have a history of a felon on their record. They can never ever say for the rest of their lives, when an interview asks them, have you ever been convicted of a felony? They can never say no. A white American with a felony conviction is more likely to get a callback for a job interview than a black person that has no criminal record. That's reality in America. That white people would rather deal with felonious other white people rather than law-abiding black people. The racism in America goes all the way to its rotten core. And that's why there are some folks that have stepped forward and said, hey, we need to stop this. We need to make amends. And of course, the racists and the bigots have done everything in their power to make sure that the minorities stay in their place, that the gay people and the trans people are shoved back in their closet, that they have no bodily autonomy, that women have no place in the business world or the collegiate world or the government. They want everything to be run by wealthy white men, preferably straight, cisgender, Christian, wealthy white men. That's the whole panoply they want right there. That's the whole thing they want. And if they can't get their way honestly, and they can't, then they'll lie, cheat, steal, and kill to achieve it. And they're more than willing to do that.